Hello, and thank you for coming back to my channel Finding Grace. In an effort to find grace in our lives, I thought, let me share how exactly I am doing that in some of the experiences that I've been going through of late. So this is more of a vulnerable post, and I just really want to encourage you and those people that you know, and even give you some tips on how to help other people experiencing some of these emotions, how you can deal with them, and what to do and what not to do. I'm fortunately not in this camp, but I've experienced people who just don't know how to give grace to those of us who may be having emotional experiences in our lives. Like, people don't know how to give grace, and if you just gave me 5 minutes of grace, then that would change everything. You know, a lot of us think we go through these emotional stuff because we are unstable, but honest to God, we didn't just get here because we got here, because we chose to be here. Yeah, this is a little vulnerable, but you know, some of us haven't had the best upbringings, both in the home and out of the home. And for me, it was both places. Like, the home wasn't the best experience, and society wasn't also a really great experience for me. So it's just, now I'm learning that I need to heal in order to move forward through life well, and in order to have a really good life. Like, I do want to not be stuck sometimes under in all of the weight of the anxiety and all of that stuff. So this is why I do this, and I am healing. But I do want to share an experience that happened recently. Not so long ago, I actually had a panic attack. There's a difference between a panic attack and an anxiety attack, and we'll get into the specifics just now. But it just literally came out of nowhere. I was actually having a really good week, and although there were some pressures here and there, everything was just going dandy. But then one morning I woke up, I didn't even have coffee that day. Like, this is how serious it was. I hadn't had anything that could be a stimulus to heightened heartbeats or anything. There was no caffeine involved in my morning. It was just, I knew that morning felt a little bit off as well, until I sat down and I was trying to do some work, and I just couldn't get my work done. I found myself experienced all sorts of heightened levels of emotions. My heartbeat was racing, my emotions were just out of whack, and I just could feel myself starting to just weep. And normally I have a lot of control over that, but this time I just had zero control over everything that was happening. Like, I was crying, my heart was just racing, I was just so tense. I don't know what other body functions I was feeling, but I just knew that no matter what I did, I wasn't going to calm myself down. And it was in that moment that I realized that I was having a panic attack. I wasn't even coping, so I had to stop what I was doing, and I came and I laid down and just prayed. And I think I fell asleep for a few minutes because I know somebody called me, and I didn't even feel my watch vibrate. So why do I share about me having a panic attack and share about the experience? Well, panic attacks come out of nowhere. Like, stresses may be going on around you, and eventually you may just melt or not cope and be going through a panic attack. So what are some of the symptoms of panic attack? So you have mental and physical symptoms, as I spoke about. You have feelings of unreality, feelings of being detached from oneself, you fear that you're losing control or that you're going crazy. And I didn't experience this, but the symptoms say that you fear dying, which is super interesting. Your physical experiences is heart palpitations, pounding heart, accelerated heart rate, excessive sweating, trembling or shaking, shortness of breath, so you struggle to breathe, you may feel like you're choking, you have chest pain, maybe your body is feeling it, abdominal distress. And then they say like you lose sensation in your fingers, so you get like tingling and stuff in them. And then either you feel really cold or really hot, like hot flashes, or you just feel like you are so chilly. So those are some of the symptoms of a panic attack. And I know that in this time, that because there's so many stresses happening around us, like we may be taking them well, but it's building up unconsciously and you might end up having a panic attack. The other thing is you may just be having an anxiety attack. And an anxiety attack is just that your sympathetic system is activated. So in a moment of rest, or in our moments of rest, we are in a parasympathetic state where our heartbeat is calm, our minds are calm, there's not much happening in our bodies. But when we get triggered, the sympathetic nervous system is activated, and so then that means like the fight or flight response is activated. You get heart flashes, you get like just your heartbeat raises. And when you have anxiety, it's just this like, I call it a low level, like slight heartbeat. So your heartbeat is racing a little bit, but not hectically, and you can actually live with it every day. And other people who have anxiety will tell you they live with this like low grade of fear that something bad is going to happen. So with anxiety, it is the fear that something bad is going to happen in a moment. So for me, how anxiety used to hit was that when I was driving down the street, I would always swerve at every single stop street. If mine was the main road going, I'd always like slightly curve my car at every single stop street, because I just feared someone wasn't going to stop at the stop street and they were just going to come and hit me. But that was a response out of anxiety, as opposed to having a panic attack. Panic attacks they tend not to be usual, and they tend to come out of nowhere. But anxiety, like some of us can live with anxiety if it isn't so bad. But when it's bad, it's just these cycles and cycles and cycles that drive you crazy. Anxiety it's chronic. It's that chronic feeling, the chronic, your mind going on and on and on about doomsday, or things that can go bad, or things that have already gone bad in your life, and them repeating themselves. So that's what an anxiety attack is like. It's a little bit more constant, a little more, and especially when like things have started to heat up a little bit in your life, and not in a good way, and you're just anxious that one day it's just going to all implode. Like, that's anxiety. And that's an anxiety attack. Like, you can get very overwhelmed by your anxiety, but you know where its cause comes from. You know that you've been worried. You know that you've been trying to do something, but you're not so sure what the outcome is going to do. So you just are going in circles, trying to think through whether it's going to take place, or what's going to happen when it takes place. Are you going to be okay when it takes place? That's anxiety. Anxiety is a form of panic attack, but I wouldn't put them in the two, and so wouldn't psychologists. As I was reading up on them, they are distinct. So what do you do about that? Why is this important to know that these things happen? Well, one, when you're having a panic attack, there's no way you can reason with yourself. There is no way someone can reason with you, and it is pointless trying to fight it. The only way to deal with it is to find a way of comforting yourself. So for me, sleep is a comfort. It helps me just shut down from every single thing that's going on. Maybe tea is a comfort for you, like something warm, tea, a hot water bottle, sitting by a fire, being embraced by someone. Like those things help you just come to a state of peace when your body is just out of peace and out of whack. So you find comfort. Just stop everything that you're doing. Don't even worry about reasoning with yourself, with your mind. It's not going to work. Just stop, drop, and roll. Okay, don't roll and don't drop. But just stop and acknowledge and have that grace for yourself that, hey, stuff actually isn't going well and my body is telling me that I'm not coping, so I need to stop and I need to just focus on myself for a little bit. My panic attacks, they say, subside within 10 to 20 minutes, so just take time and allow somebody the time, if you're with them, just to be in that space. Don't ask questions. Don't try to talk it out. They're not going to be able to do that. It's just a matter of finding comfort, finding peace and relaxation, and letting your body do what it needs to do. I guarantee you, if you let yourself just go through the emotions, it's just your body just reacting. Let it do that, and then you'll be fine afterwards. And afterwards, don't start to berate yourself. Don't start to question what happened. There will be a time to solve what's going on, but that is not the time. Like, find good, wholesome food. Find good, wholesome company. Like, find things that feed your soul afterwards, rather than doing things that take away from you. Definitely find somebody to talk to about what is going on in your life, because obviously you are not managing. And I don't say that to put you down. I say it because it's the truth. And sometimes we're so afraid of that truth. I'm not managing. But that is one of the most freeing truths when we struggle emotionally. I'm not managing. It gives you the space and the freedom to figure out, why am I not managing, and then to do something about it. Instead of beating around the bush and beating yourself down for months and months and months and still finding yourself in the same place, rather just deal with it and find somebody to speak to. And then once you've healed, wow, you move on. Just like that. It's not as easy, but it's really, when you start taking the steps, you wish you started sooner. I have found it so helpful my whole adult life, going to psychologists and speaking it through with someone who is not so tied to my situation. It's so helpful, it's so freeing, and they give you tips that you can thrive in life, and that's what we want to do. I hope this helps you. I hope this helps anybody who has somebody who deals with anxiety and some emotional traumas and emotional stuff. I hope it's freeing, because it's not a curse. It's not something that we should be stigmatized about. It just means that life is heavy right now, and we need to take a little bit more care of ourselves for this season, so that in the next seasons to come, we are able to run as fast as we can. We're able to do and accomplish the things we need to do and accomplish. So that's my vulnerable post today, and I hope this helps you. Yeah. I am praying for all of you who watch this video. I'm praying that you will have breakthrough. I'm praying that you'll have the courage to get the help that you need. And I'm praying that you will find victory and good life on the other side of being brave. I'll catch you next time.